right, it's that time again. It's time for a new series. Today is episode 1 of a new series where you guys are going to follow me and my progress as a prop farmer. And I'm very excited about this one. Now, we have done a few series which have done very well on our channel. You guys have loved the series. We had Joe initially getting to 1 million funded, and that was early days before we even had the hedge bot, using Titan X, using the prop farming blueprint, and he hit his goal. He got to 1 million funded. And then after that, we had Adam using the hedge bot, hedging his way to 500k, which he hit his target. And as a result, he actually now has made that kind of a side business, a full-time business, where he's essentially making anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 a month by doing that. And that was all as a result of that initial series. So it got me thinking, you know, what do I want to achieve from my series? Well, let me first start by going over my journey so far very briefly. I did get to a point towards the end of last year where I was sitting at about 600,000 funded, on my way to get to the million funded, all using the prop farming blueprint, using Titan X. But unfortunately, all of my accounts were spread between my Forex funds, True Forex funds, and the funded trader. Now, we all know that all three of those ended up, you know, essentially shutting down. The funded trader is kind of back, but I'm not really counting that because I lost everything that I had on there. But I was 600,000 funded. Now, I don't see it as a loss because I did make a lot of payouts from those accounts, and I ended up actually making quite a lot of profit from that. So much so that I had 1 month that I actually hit a 10k month. So it was going very well. And then all of a sudden, kind of all of that came down, and I'm kind of back to ground zero, right? So this was kind of the initial kind of thought of coming from that. Let's see if we can build our way back up again. Now, my target is, obviously I want to get to the million funded. That is a big goal of mine. I want to have the plaque behind me that is the 7-figure funded club for Blue Edge Financial, which we already have quite a lot of our members there. I came so close, but I will get there again. But I thought, instead of that, why not do a series where the whole objective and the target is to get to a point where the prop farming blueprint is essentially paying me a full-time wage or equivalent to that. So it got me thinking, you know, what would I need? What would be considered a full-time wage? So where I live out here in East Africa, a good wage, I would say, is $5,000 is a very good wage. And that for me is going to be my starting point. My main objective is to get to $5,000 per month consistently using the prop farming blueprint, but in particular using the overhedge strategy. Now, what is the overhedge strategy? Well, in order for me to explain the overhedging strategy, let me first start by explaining our hedging strategy. So we, a little while ago, brought out a hedge bot, which will do the exact opposite to whatever Titan X is doing on your prop firm account. So if your Titan X is taking a buy on your prop firm account, on your live hedge account, you will basically be taking a sell. So it's the complete opposite. And what that means is, if you fail your challenge on whatever prop firm you're on, your hedge account will essentially make back the challenge fee. So it means you can just keep repeating, keep hitting play until you get to a funded account. It'll never cost you any more than that initial buy into a challenge to get to a funded account, right? So in the past, we used to pay $500 to take a $100,000 challenge. And if we lost the challenge, you lose that $500. You take that hit and you basically go again. And sometimes you're $2,000, $3,000 down before you actually get to your first funded account. And then you've got to make that back. Now, the only thing that's costing us with the hedging strategy is time. It's only taking us time, right? Which is incredible. But now there's even a improvement on that. And that is one of our users in the community who is a professional gambler came up with this strategy. You know, he understands all the probabilities, and he came up with a strategy where he basically said, let's use the hedging strategy, but go to the next level. Instead of actually making back our challenge fee, let's use it to actually make profit. So if we fail, we still make money. So you kind of make money whichever way you go. Now, what we're doing is essentially we're looking at making about $500 profit. You can push that a little bit more, but we're looking at making about $500 to $600 profit on a 100k account if you end up failing. Okay, so with that being said, let me just quickly show you a demonstration of the hedging strategy. So this is the overhedging strategy. Now, I'm sure you guys, if you've watched past videos, you've seen this calculator before for the 2-phase. Now, this is for a single phase hedging. The reason is I'm going to be using E8's single phase challenge because it takes a little bit quicker to get to a funded account. And also you need slightly less on your hedge account to actually overhedge. You can do this on a 2-phase, but it is going to mean that you take a little bit longer to get to the funded account. And you also need a little bit more in your live account to hedge the 2 phases, right? So I'm going to be looking at only taking the single phase, and I'm going to be looking at getting to a set number of challenges running at the same time. And I'm going to be going through that exact process now. So this is the overhedging hedging, guys, you can see here 100K account costs on average about $400 with E8, the single phase. Your profit target is 8%, your max loss is 8%, and your real account initial deposit is 1,500. That's what I've got in mind. And then for your funded account, your first target is $3,000. So let's go through phase one. If you fail, I'm going to put my recovery amount at 900. So instead of just making the $400, I'm going to make back 900, which means I get my $400 buy-in back. I can go back and pay for my next challenge, but I also make $500 profit. I'm making $500 for failing an account, which is brilliant. Now, if I were to pass that, great, I get a funded account, but it did cost me 1,300 to get to the funded account, right? So now I need to make back that 1,300. So my initial goal is going to be $3,000 on the funded account. I'm going to be running the hedge bot one more time. And if I do pass, so my target is going to be 1,400 because I want to make back the 400 as well, plus what I lost. And then I'll still have $100 profit on top of that. And that's kind of just a little bit extra because, you know, there's always certain things that happen and we always might be a little bit behind. So I'm not even going to count that $100. Essentially, we're looking at breaking even there. But if you pass, you end up making everything back and you still get about $575 in profit. Then you turn the hedge off and you just run this and you look for 2%. So every time you get that profit, which should happen roughly every 2 weeks, you're making $1,600 every 2 weeks. That's the goal anyway. So that is the calculator there. So with all of these numbers in mind, let's go over to another really cool calculator we have here, which is the potential profits calculator, right? So my goal is $5,000 a month, right? So let's go through this all here. My challenge cost is going to be $400 per month. Now I will leave these links down in the description below as well. So make sure you check there. In every one of the series, these are going to be down there so you can, you know, use these if you want as well, if you're following along with me. We're going to be doing a single phase. The funded rate is 33%. That's on average, and that's based on the numbers that we already have, right? So that's for 2-phase challenge. So I think the funded rate for a single phase is probably higher, but I'm going to stick to the 33. Average days to pass both. So I'm going to keep it at 30 because that's a fair amount of time to be passing a single phase for sure. We're going to start with just running 2 at a time, and then we're going to just go up from there. Profit split is 80%. Profit target, we are going to be looking for 2% once we hit that initial profit. So once we've hit the first profit of 3%, that's just to make back our money. We will then be switching it down to 2% for every profit target. Profit target hit rate, 75%. I actually think it's a little bit higher than that, but I'm going to leave it at that. And the net profit on the first is $500. Like I said, we make that $575 on the first payout after recovering all of our losses, okay? We don't change anything else. So with that being said, we'll get to a point where we're running about $2,000 per month. So let's see what happens if we go up to 3 challenges running at a time. So at that point, we're getting to about close to $3,000 per month. Now, if we were to put that at 4 challenges running at a time, we're getting to about 3,800, okay? So with that being said, we'd probably need to look at getting about 5 challenges running at a time. Based on all of these numbers, I would say the profit target is slightly higher. I would say the hit rate of 2% is probably more like 80%. So let's just put in that. So then I think more realistically, we'll be looking at, about 4 challenges, running 4 challenges at a time. Our profit target hit rate is about 80%. And that's based on the numbers that I've seen, especially, and that's for 2-phase challenges, but I think this is more on the funded anyway. So I would say we're definitely hitting 80% of the time we're hitting that target. So with everything else, that looks good to me. $5,000, we can get to $5,000 if we're running 4 challenges. So with that in mind, we've worked out all of the numbers here. We got to be running about 4 challenges at a time. That's kind of the initial goal. We'll see if we get to the 4 challenges at a time and it's all running smoothly and we're making less than that, then we might look at buying into a 5th, okay? But for now, I'm going to say the target is 4 challenges. So now the goal to get to 4 running accounts, here it is. So we're going to start with a single E8 account, which I actually am already running, and I'm going to be showing you that in a bit. So these are the few scenarios that can kind of play out, right? Either you fail and you make enough money to buy into the new account, which you will do. You'll see you go back to the start and you'll also make that $500 profit. Now that $500 profit goes into the kitty. You're going to keep building that kitty from the money you make from funded accounts and from your failed accounts, because remember, you're making profits from your failed. That just keeps building into a kitty kitty so that you can start more challenges, right? So that kitty is going to grow, and as soon as that kitty hits a certain amount, then you can start the next challenge, buy into a new challenge, and make sure you've got enough for the hedging as well. So that kitty is going to keep growing. Now the next thing is, once you actually get to running 4 accounts simultaneously, even if you were to fail all 4 accounts in a month, you could still make $2,000 from 4 failed accounts, right? Which might happen, it might happen that way, and you're still making money. So it's almost like worst case scenario, you're making $2,000 a month. And I doubt this is going to be happening every month. So let's see the next side. We're going to be passing. Our first payout is going to be about $500, or we're going to fail and we'll make enough to buy in and we start again, right? Or we're going to pass, we're going to hit the $500, we're going to make that first run, we're going to turn the hedge button off, and then we're going to be looking for that 2%, $1,600 profit, and then we just keep repeating. Now this is going to constantly go into our kitty to basically buy into more challenges, and then we're going to start with the second and the third, and we'll keep repeating the above cycle until we can run 4 accounts at a time. Okay, so like I said, I am going to be doing all of this on E8 because E8 is the suggested prop firm for us to run the single phase. At the moment, it's the only one that is that works really well with our EA and the set files we have for the single phase. Now what I might do is, once I get to 4 accounts and it's going well and I feel like I'm still not quite there, then I'm going to start running a few 2-phase challenges. I'll go back to the 5%ers, Flexify, and all of those, and maybe run another 2 on 2-phase challenges, and maybe just reduce the amount I'm looking for, because then it'll be more about getting the funded accounts and just kind of repeating that. So that's the goal. I will be looking at, I've already set up an account for myself and I'm running it now, but it's more as a test, but I'm already in the challenge. So let me just show you that quickly. Okay, yeah, so you can see, guys, I've started this one. I started it back on the 6th of October. It's 100K. It cost me 379 with E8. It's a single phase. I'm running Titan X. It's in progress, and I'm running a strategy called VM Soup. At the moment, it's still running, but let me just show you that quickly. Okay, so here we go, guys. As you can see, we're currently, let me show you the actual challenge first. So this is the challenge account. This is Titan X running. We're a little bit down, well, quite a lot down. We are down to 93,000. I think 92 is the cutoff because I think it's 8%, not 10%. I think 8% is your max loss. So we've got about another 1,100 to play with. But on the hedge account, the account that's hedging, I've already made back my 379, which it cost, and I'm already $100, about $100 in profit. So if we do end up going to lose the final $1,100, I think we're going to be getting to about $200 in profit. So this is kind of my tester. I'm running a test first just to see the over hedging kind of in action, because it's the first time I'm using the overhead strategy, and I only put in the kind of target of making $200 profit if I fail, and well, it looks like we're going to hit that. So with that being said, that's all been put into my spreadsheet. I will be sharing the spreadsheet as well. So we are all go, guys, all systems go. We've got our tester going in, but even in the profit we make from this, I'm going to be putting in to my my kitty to essentially buy into the next and the next and the next, with the goal of getting 4 accounts running simultaneously. So that's it, guys. That's my plan of action. This is series 1. I'm super excited about this one because no matter what happens, we're going to be making money. Like I said, worst case scenario, we'll be making about $2,000 a month, which, you know, that for that reason, I think we will eventually have to get to the point to maybe run 5 or even 6 challenges at a time. So that worst case scenario, we're potentially still going to be hitting our 5K. Worst case scenario is our 5K a month. And then best case is going to be like 7 or 8 on top of that. Because if you were to look at this and we say we actually run 6 accounts at the same time, you can see you're getting to about $8,500 a month. But I would say worst case scenario, you're kind of getting close to that 5K. I want almost like the worst case scenario to be the 5K, and then everything on top of that is a bonus. So we're going to target the 4 running simultaneously, and once we're actually running with that, we're going to give you guys all the results. So in the next video, I'll be going over maybe starting up. I'm potentially looking at starting up this next one now already, just to kind of get going, and then whatever happens with this one, whatever money it makes back will kind of just kick in. So we could potentially even be going with 2. I did say starting with 1 because maybe some of you guys that are following along, maybe you only want to start with 1, but I might be looking at starting 2. I think 2 is the max I can start with now, so we might be looking at starting with 2. So in my next video, I'll be bringing you guys the results from this first kind of tester one, and I'll also be showing you me buying into the next account, setting up my Titan, going through which set file I'm choosing, going through everything that I do so you guys can follow along everything. I want you guys to see everything I do. Nothing is hidden. This is all going to be, you know, a full rundown of everything I'm doing, my whole process. I'm going to be showing you which accounts I'm doing my funded accounts on, my live accounts, my hedging accounts, and I'm just going to be bringing everything as we go. And then the goal is obviously to get to that $5,000 a month. And then once we hit that, I'll start taking some tips from you guys. Where can I take the family on a family vacation? There's a lot of places I'd love to go. So that's the goal. I want to work up to the 5,000, and then we're going to go for a family vacation with some of the profits. So maybe you guys can follow along with me on that journey. It's nice to have that kind of like, obviously the goal is the 5,000, but then, you know, something kind of a reward for that. So that's the goal, is I want to go somewhere I've never been with the family. So follow along with me, guys. I'm so excited about this whole series. I hope you guys are too. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you want to find out more about the prop farming blueprint, everything I'm using, and you guys want to follow along, make sure you go to www.propfarming.com. Have a look at the video there. It gives you all the information you need. You can fill in the application form, and you guys could potentially be following along with me. If not, just watch, follow my process, and maybe it inspires you to kind of get going later on. But yeah, that's it, guys. That's episode 1 of this new series of getting to $5,000 a month prop farming. I hope you guys will join in the next video. We'll be looking at bringing these out. I can't say exactly it's going to be every 2 weeks or it's going to be every month, 1 month. It's going to be when something happens and when I'm signing up for new accounts, when I'm getting passes, when I'm getting fails, when I'm getting those fails, am I actually making the profit like I should be? So that's where I'm going to be giving you guys the update videos, but it's probably going to be maybe once every 2 to 3 weeks, maybe once a month. But that's kind of going to be like the cycle, maybe once a month at worst. It could be even quicker if something cool happens. So that's it from me, guys. Don't want it to be too long. I hope you guys will join in on my journey, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Bye for now.